Good morning, Ate Marie, Thursday, unbelievable. I hope everyone's holding up well with the online learning and at school. We're doing fine. We've getting into a nice rhythm. Today's story is The Happy Lion Roars. Now this is not a sequel, but it's another story in the Happy Lion series. I was able to find this one. This is an old library book from a where is it from? It was a library in America, and it is, oh, here we go, San Joaquin Valley Library System. So it's from California in America, and I got this one online, and because it's out of print now, but I was so happy to score this one because a few weeks ago we read the other Happy Lion story about him running through the town, little French town, and scaring everybody, and he was thinking that everybody wasn't polite at all. So this is a lovely story. This involves a lioness. So but before we get into the story, have a bit of a think, because it's called The Happy Lion Roars. I had a bit of a look-see in our fun fact book, and guess I'm going to pose the question, how far do you think a lion roar can be heard? You know, is it more than 1 kilometre away? Is it more than 2 kilometres away? Have a bit of a think, and we'll get back to that after the story. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the story. The Happy Lion Roars. I just love the illustrations. The happy lion was most unhappy. That was easy to see. No one knew why, but there he was, refusing his food, looking most of the time sadly up to the sky, sighing. He looked sad even when he took children for a ride, and yet he loved those rides so. When his friend Francois visited him, he no longer smiled and winked. The doctor was called at last, but only said, "A healthy young fellow, nothing wrong with him." And he patted him on the head, left some pills and went. Yet the happy lion was unhappy, that was certain. So why is the happy lion unhappy? Ah, the happy lion would sigh to himself. As I see every day, people and animals never seem to live alone. Never! The camel in his yard over there, he rubs his head against Mrs. Camel's. He is not alone. The hippopotamuses, he splashes in the water with Mrs. Hippopotamus and little hippopotamuses. He is not alone. The bear who wrestles playfully with Mrs. Bear, he is not alone. The zebra, he rests his neck on Mrs. Zebra's, he is not alone. The gentlemen in town who come to see me with their ladies, they are not alone. Oh, even the tiny mouse comes to gather my crumbs in company with Mrs. Mouse. He is not alone. Why am I alone in my house? The happy lion was most unhappy. That was easy to see. One day a small circus, not Mr. Flambeau's, came to the town and set up its tent at one end of the park. Francois and the happy lion went out to watch the acrobats on the high wire, the bear who rode a bike, and the jungle animals who sat on stools and roared. But the happy lion saw nothing of these wonders. He stopped in front of a red cage with gilded decorations and sat there all afternoon. Why? Because there lay in the cage, with her paws crossed under her kitten fashion, the most beautiful lioness in the world. She had soft green, sleepy eyes and a shiny yellow coat. Oh, she was so beautiful, a real princess of a lioness. When the beautiful lioness saw the happy lion, she closed her eyes. No, not quite. Just so she could watch him through one tiny, tiny slit. So the happy lion watched the beautiful lioness, and the beautiful lioness watched the happy lion. Ooh la la. And when Francois came out of the circus tent, the beautiful lioness was still watching the happy lion, and the happy lion was still watching the beautiful lioness. Indeed, Francois could not make the happy lion come home. He called him. He pulled him. He pushed him. The happy lion would not budge. When the happy lion finally got up and left with many sighs, Francois could not tell whether they were happy sighs or more unhappy ones. What do you think? The next day, Francois and the Happy Lion went to the circus again, and while Francois watched the ring, the Happy Lion watched the beautiful lioness. What he said to her, no one heard, I guess. It is only certain that he sighed no more that night. As soon as the gay moon was up in the sky, he slipped out of his house now, for he knew how to open doors, and he went silently across the darkened park towards the circus tent and the wagons. Oh, he's looking sneaky. The beautiful lioness was surely waiting for him, for when he opened the door of her cage, she jumped down and followed him. Together they walked back through the park, treading softly so as not to wake up the noisy jungle birds and the cage full of monkeys. The Happy Lion led the beautiful lioness into his house and hid her way back in his cave. Maison du Lion, the lion house. When Monsieur Trapeze, the circus man, saw that his beautiful lioness had run away, he pulled his red hair in despair, and then he called Monsieur Le Maire and the policeman, and then everyone who had nothing better to do came to help in the search for the beautiful lioness. Everyone looked everywhere a beautiful lioness could hide, in the woods, under old stairs, in cellars and dark alleys, behind woodpiles, and even under beds. But there was no beautiful lioness. Then they even went to look in the jungle bird cage, in the elephant's yard, in the hippopotamus's yard, and why, yes, even in the Happy Lion's house. But what did they find in the lion's house? Oh, just the Happy Lion sitting in the front of his cave, so peacefully, so innocently, just as if he knew nothing about anything. What? Looking. Oh, no beautiful lioness here, said Monsieur Le Maire. No beautiful lionesses, said Monsieur Trapeze. No beautiful lionesses, everybody echoed everybody else. So they were about to give up the hunt when a little girl cried, "Oh, look, the Happy Lion has 2 tails." That was true. So he had. How can he have 2 tails? As he was sitting there in front of his cave, and he had 1 tail to his left and a tufted one and one on his right. A sleek, smooth tail that swished elegantly like a cat. "It's my beautiful lioness's tail," cried Monsieur Trapeze. Indeed, there was the lioness's tail, and at the end of it there was the lioness crouching behind the Happy Lion. Monsieur Trapeze rushed to the door of the lion's house to fetch the lioness, but he stopped short because the Happy Lion roared the biggest, loudest, longest roar he had ever roared in his life. Roar! The lion's house trembled. The old tree in the garden trembled. Monsieur Trapeze trembled and looked at Monsieur Le Maire, who looked at the gendarmes in astonishment. That's the police. "Oh, please, Monsieur Trapeze," cried Francois, "do not take the beautiful lioness away. I know why the Happy Lion was unhappy. He was lonesome." "Leave my beautiful lioness here," cried Monsieur Trapeze. "My lioness who can jump through a ring of fire. Never!" "Well," said Francois, "the Happy Lion won't let you take her." Monsieur Trapeze, Monsieur Le Maire, and the gendarmes looked at each other again. They were perplexed. Which means that they did not know what to do. But then Monsieur Le Maire said, "Let me speak to my council," and he led Monsieur Trapeze away. Everybody left too, also Francois, who was very pleased that the Happy Lion could roar so loud. When Monsieur Le Maire and his council about him, he said, "Messieurs, since our beloved Happy Lion is happy again, on all account of the very beautiful lioness, I propose that the beautiful lioness remain with him, and I propose too that we pay Monsieur Trapeze what he needs to buy himself another lioness, who can jump through rings of fire. Voila, messieurs. That sounds like a good plan to me." So Monsieur Trapeze took the money and went to look for another lioness, and the Happy Lion now shared his garden with the most beautiful lioness in the world. Never again did he sigh in the sky or look sad when Francois visited him, and the beautiful lioness also became Francois' friend. Isn't that just the best? Oh, I love that one. Oh, it was so special when I found that one and I read that to my wife for the first time. She was my beautiful lioness. Now, that fact I said about the lion, and I have a bit of a think about how loud can the lion roar? Roar! How far can it be heard? And is it 1 kilometre? No. Is it 2 kilometres? No. Is it 3? No. Must be 4. No. Could it possibly be 5? No. 6? 7? 8. It's 8 kilometres. Can you imagine that? I'm here in Kashmir in Christchurch, and the airport is just on 9 kilometres away. So it's almost there. So if I go to the bottom of the hill, I could hear the happy lion roar from the airport. That is so far. Man, imagine being really close to that when you hear that roar. That would be terrifying. So I hope you enjoyed that story and that fun fact, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.